Hello, hello, hi, hello, Yella, it is me, it is I. Small time to hear on the internet. I am back, Yella. I have tried to avoid this conversation only because I thought like more would come out and then it would be a real conversation, but mostly because I did not want to add on to, I don't want to be the person with the negativity. Like, I think it's important for me to reestablish or establish, I don't know if I've done it already, what I aim to do when I have some of these conversations on trending topics. Because more than anything, I want us to talk about the parts that we relate to, that we would like to not continue doing, like patterns of behavior that are not good for us, that we see somebody in a public space exhibit and we're like, ladies, let's stop doing this thing. Let's stop doing this thing. It does not serve us. So when I talk about a story, I don't necessarily want to beat on the person or harp on whatever, like them as an individual. I always want to talk about the bigger societal problem that we have as to why it is we participate in whatever it is that we're seeing in the headline on the day. And this day has come. We have to talk about Bianca Naidoo and Ricky Reg and the situation that's unfolding over there. Try to avoid it. I can't, it's bothering me. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about Faith in Nketsi toward the end of the video. But the conversation I would like to have here is the issue of standards and how women in recent years have been sort of shamed out of having standards, bullied out of having standards, made to feel like you're a diva or asking for too much for having standards. And that's how I feel we end up in these situations. I should say I don't want to get married. Marriage is a very scary thing for me. There's a long list of reasons why. But the one that relates to the story, I suppose, is the one that I'll lean into the most because I don't want to get into the others right now. I am confined, not confined, but I'm not confined, but restricted. I don't move around much. I'm an entrepreneur. I have to make things happen. If I don't do it myself, it's not going to happen. So I find myself in the same area for long periods. So when I was going through my single and sad phase, because that was really sad, everybody would always say, oh, it's your location, oh, it's where you are. But I'm still here. So I'm very aware of the pool of people I have to fish from, or even just the pool that I have in the dating market. I've never pulled a wealthy man ever in my life, or a man who's gonna want to come and take care of me. What I see existing in and around me, what I see women around me settling for, is appalling. And for that reason, it's not appealing to me. I don't want to be Mrs. Whomever. First of all, I like being who I am. I love my identity. I just really, really love who I am, and I don't want to share it for nobody. Nobody's worth it. It's that simple. I've always said, if you ever see me get rid of my name, understand I'm taking on a name that is equity. I am not about to become Mama again. Like, I must just stop being who I am just to, what fucking door is that gonna open for me? Fuck out of my face with this shit. So that's a me thing. The rest of you bitches do want to get married, and it's nothing the matter with that, right? It's what you want. Society actually grooms you to want that. But for some or other reason, we are now being shamed into not saying it or not requiring marriage. Like, it's now all of a sudden a thing that you can't require. Just because I don't need it, but I support you in wanting what it is that you want. And furthermore, I support you in verbalizing what you want. But you guys just want a man so bad, and you will take half a man, that you're at a point where you can't even say or give a man an ultimatum that you need to marry me. You need to do the right thing and make me your wife, so that I'm not out here in these streets looking a fucking mess, fighting over your shit that I've helped you get, that I have actively helped you build, that I'm not out here looking a mess fighting for these things. You have an obligation to take care of me as somebody who lies with me and somebody that I have multiplied. You have an obligation to do the right thing by me. You better fucking marry me. You guys can't do that. You can't do that. Bianca is in the situation now because they can, first of all, I'll link the article. There's a Sunday World. Is it a Sunday World or Soweto? I don't know, a Sunday World. I'll link the article. Where it's very confusing to me because she says, oh, we're not very cultural people. We are like so modern. And then she's like, he gave me a promise ring in 2015 and then another one in 2020. What the fuck it is that the ring in 2020 wasn't a real, like, I'm marrying you ring? Why does he keep getting you promise? Who promising you? Because by the time he gives you the second promise ring, he's broken the first promise because the first promise ring was to marry you. This is why promise rings are a fucking joke. I've said to my friends, but never gonna promise ring like that. I'm gonna boo-hoo-hoo laugh in your fucking face. What promise ring? What the fuck is that? Like, are we teenagers? The fuck is this? Like, if a man can't afford to marry you, then he should not brand you. You're not a fucking cow. He should not put a mark on you because that's what a promise ring is. It's not an engagement ring. An engagement ring in a logo go tagamari. Not by that. As an African girl, if you're out here wearing a ring and the person has never sent his uncles for the first round of negotiations, you are a dummy. You're a dummy. You're just allowing a man to brand you and keep your soulmates away from you and other potential men away from you while he doesn't do the right thing by you. You look foolish. Who is your mom? Where is your village? Who are your people? Why are they allowing you to do? And you all do it. This is what I'm saying. It's not a Bianca issue. We don't need to come on here and harp on this because I am seeing this happen over and over and over again. If marriage is a requirement for you, if marriage is the height of security for you, you better fucking require it. This thing, Yabulina, where you just want to tiptoe around it and, oh, he'll ask me when he's ready. Oh, first of all, this woman engaged in Build a Bear project and Build a Dude. My girl, what better kapapoto and got in her Bob the Builder bag and built this person's career. You took in an unemployed, essentially homeless man, right? Gave him access to the little resources you have, a place to sleep, right? Money for his studio sessions to record his albums, and then he blows up and then he gives you a little promise ring, girl, and then you're like, yeah, that's enough, and then you go make him 2 kids. This is not about you, Bianca, because you all do it. You have you have this thing, like, if you say what your standards are, then you're gonna push him away, right? Then fuck him. He can go away. He can. You need to be okay with that because you're not getting your needs met here. You're not. That said, I hope she actually wins this case because the fact and said girls are going through it. The fact and said girls build people, they put in the work, and then the person dies unexpectedly, and then they have no claims to anything. But all the while, everybody saw and allowed them to perform wife duties for this person. This man was out here calling this woman his wife without having done the proper thing, and she was letting him. How he give you a promise ring twice? What's he promising you the second time? What promise is he making the second time? I'm so confused. Like, but it is, guys, just standards. Don't betray yourself. When you don't uphold your own standard, it gives room for the men that you partner with to walk all over them. If you say this is my bar, and then you allow you keep bringing it lower and lower, the person knows that they can do whatever they want. Give these people ultimatums. If that's what you require for security, you better let them know. You better let them know, and he better do the right thing by you. You're not me. I don't. Like, if we're like, since we're here, like, but like, the only reason her marriage career made sense was all that shit she had helped him amass for herself, for security, yes. But part of the reason I don't want to marry is how, like, financially irresponsible a lot of men are. A lot of you marry people who actually fuck up your finances. A lot of women end up experiencing a lot of financial abuse because they just so badly wanted to be Mrs. Whomever. And that's a conversation, right? But Bianca, girl, they're assets here. They're things to protect for your kids that you help put together. You, girl, the article says you could, that's another thing. This girl quit her job at the behest of the deceased. Why this man didn't take care of this girl, you guys? Men will let you down, even in their fucking last breath, they'll let you down. And me, I'm a Ricky Rick fan, but I gotta say it. It's like you knew what situation you were gonna leave this girl in. And yes, depression is tricky. Suicide is tricky. You're not exactly in your right mind. You're not thinking about all those tiny little things and how this is gonna do this and how that's gonna affect him ever. You're just in a state of I don't wanna be here. So let me not do that, right? Sorry about that. Let's let that one go. But it's like, girl, Lena Bianca, Lena the life partner. If you are life partnering with somebody who's actually worth a cent, most of them aren't. Most of you really have no business marrying these people. You're just marrying their dates. A lot of you have no business getting married. But never know to go loto. Like, men like to wear their wealth. They like to drive fancy this and do whatever. So you just end up inheriting debt that's none of your business. Like, Bianca had reasons to marry these people, but she kept accepting promise rings and allowing this man to call her his wife. You would call me your fucking girlfriend. You would let the world know. At every turn, I'd remind the world that this man has not done the right thing by me yet. But you even gave this man the platform to call you something that he had not earned. About Faith. I turned this off and now I'm back because I'm seeing that I didn't mention her. Faith, on her new season of Have Faith, her reality show Faith Nketsi, breaks down in the second episode, I think, about, not being sure if she really wants to go through with this. Ladies, you need to trust that gut instinct. Hey, Kim Kardashian had it with that guy, the white one, the one white person she's involved with. Well, before Pete. What's his name? She got married on the show and everything. And she's like the 72-hour marriage. She knew. There are a number of celebrities who can tell you that they went through with something because there was such a societal pressure to do it because it's the right thing to do and he's a good man, Savannah. But like, my favorite content creator is Kimberly Foster of For Harriet, right? And recently, I can't even remember which video it was, she talked about how women are still the most celebrated when they partner a man. You could go to the moon, girl, and find the cure for cancer and bring it back, and they'll ask you if there were no man in the moon. Like, we see your little cure, but why couldn't you bring back a fucking man? Right? So Faith is supposed to be excited. It doesn't matter what reservations she has. A man has asked you to marry him, girl. A man who's posturing as somebody with money because it's looking iffy. You need to trust that thing. Somebody asking doesn't simply mean you have to say yes. Again, your standards. What standards did you have in place for yourself in your head as to, I need these things met if I'm gonna marry somebody? Those standards have not been met. Those standards have not been met clearly because she's scared. And then her friend is like, oh, Mzala, everybody gets goosebumps. What the fuck are goosebumps, Kim? Like, everybody gets goosebumps before, I think she meant Caulfield. It's okay, Kim. It's okay, girl. I got you. But like, I also wish I had a man with money to take care of me and to do this and to do that. Faith may have been the bag that was getting secured while she thought she was securing a bag. Men do that. Men front. Men will posture. Men will take their last 300 rands and take you like wherever. With their last 300 rands, and you think this person has their shit together. Posturing. Men will call their friends and be like, getting 1,000, and do all manner of things because it looks like you have your shit together. So they pose as somebody who looks like they have their shit together. And before you know it, you're married, and now you are now the provider of this relationship because you sold us the image that you guys have this life, and now you're the one financing it. I would not be surprised if she was the bag that was being secured while she thought she was securing a bigger bag. You're the bag, sis. Right? You need to trust that thing. A man simply asking you to marry him does not mean that you have to say yes. You being pregnant does not mean you have to marry somebody. That needs to feel good. That decision to partner with somebody and to become that, what's the word I'm looking, tethered to the person. Financially, that's what marriage is. It's tethering, right? Do you have any idea how hard it would be to like comb my locks out? Because marriage feels like that to me. Sometimes I look at my one lock and I'm like, yo, these girls are going through it. But like, don't feel the pressure to stay in a situation simply because he's a good man, Savannah, and because he asked. Like, he asked and he has money, you must say yes, right? Because part of it is I don't want to embarrass him. But what about what you require? That's all I had to say on Faith. That's really all I had to say on Faith. I wish you fat and said girls the best. If the man has nothing to his name, just continue with the fat and said shit, girl. I'm sorry. Bye, Yella.